This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I hope that today will be like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart, and wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. It will enable other excellent people like you to locate this podcast. I'm also looking for the next level leaders that I can come alongside and coach and encourage. And if you'd like to see what the possibilities are of us doing that, go to drronblake.com/call, drronblake.com/call. You'll get on my calendar, I'll give you a call, and we'll see what the possibilities are. Let's talk a little bit today about productivity. I was having a conversation just a couple of days ago with a guy who I'm trying to help. He's a little bit stuck in a situation right now that he's trying to free himself up, and he has identified some goals and what he would like to see accomplished, but he confessed himself, and he knew that I was going to talk about it without mentioning his name, that he just knows that there are some things he has to stop doing and some new things that he needs to start doing. And he has tried this before, tried to be productive, tried to be goal-oriented, and that there seems to be a gravitational pull always back to doing things the old way. So today, in essence, what I'm going to talk about is let's distill productivity down and make it simple. I believe that we get too complex. Now, there are times in my life where I am always on the lookout for new productivity hacks, new apps. And what I do is I'll just download the app and I give it just a couple, 2 or 3 days. If it's not intuitive enough that I can figure it out quickly, if I cannot see the value that this is going to increase my productivity and help me, then I just delete it and keep using what I use. I actually use for my productivity tracker probably the most simple thing you could do. I'm a Mac user, and I just use the notes, and I have a master list for the week and a list for the day, and I list my 3 most important tasks. I've tried all the bells and whistles. I have for a lifetime been enamored with them, but I'm now in these days becoming the minimalist, Dr. Ron, and finding that simple beats complex 8 out of 7 days. So let's just talk about it in its most simple form. And that is, what are your goals? You don't need enormous goals, but you need some that will stretch you. I don't mean that our activity and our goals and our productivity should take on a life of its own. As a matter of fact, I'm going to prove to you in just a moment, you could probably get a lot farther in a lot less time if you have focused productivity and work at it with all of your heart while you're working, and then you can attend to the other things in life. But you have to start with a goal. That can be, of course, spiritual. I want to get closer to God. Financial, I want to get out of debt, save for retirement, buy a house. I mean, there are myriad of choices of what you can do. I want to lose weight. I want to get in good health. I want to be a better partner. I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better friend. Well, those are a little bit difficult to measure. You're going to have to put some action items on this. I think you would also ought to ask right now is, what in life are you finding to be absolutely, positively overwhelming? Life has a tendency to just flat out overwhelm us. And you can make productivity. And listen, if productivity is not simplifying your life and helping to manage the stress in your life, don't make it a competition that you read some guru, you listen to a podcast, and you have to emulate and do exactly like someone else. You have to tailor make it to fit who you are, what you're about, what matters to you, what you're willing to do, and basic personality. I mean, you just have to decide what are my life commitments? What am I really wanting to do? I think another way that will make you let's just make it as simple a productivity hack as we can. Quit buying the myth of multitasking. I have now defined multitasking as a way to mess up 8 or 9 things all at one time. If you will set a timer, set it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever your attention span is, and focus on one task at a time, just one. And while you're doing that one, you focus on it, and when you're done with that one, you're going to move to the next one. For many of you, this will be as if you are creating a new task. Now, I'm going to tell you how I do it. I am not saying if you don't do it like this, you're wrong. There are people who will disagree with me, and that's okay. I'm not living their life, you're not living mine, but how to be productive in your life. I do it in the evening, and if for some reason I'm in a late meeting far away in my state and I don't get home until an unreasonable time in which I'm exhausted, then I will, on rare occasion, do it early in the morning. But that is set, and for me it's 3. I know people who it's 2, it's 1. I know people who it's more, but for me it's 3. And I just simply identify them as my most important task. Because I don't just carry a to-do list. It is married to and memorialized on my calendar. I look over the activities of tomorrow. So in just a few hours, I'll review my schedule. I'll review my list, my master list and my daily list. And I will be able to discern in a little bit of time, here are 3 things that I absolutely have to get done tomorrow. I have always made it a rule that at the minimum, one of them has to be oriented toward goals that I have. And so the night before, I list all the things that I'm going to do. I look at my list and I identify them. And as I've told you over and over, there are always more than 3 on there. But I identify the top 3 that I'm so committed to them being completed, to those 3 items being completed, that I will not go to bed tomorrow evening until those 3 are finished. And I identify them. And then usually early in that morning, I will start working on one. And it's wonderful before you really get your day really started if you can have one of them somewhat completed. I block out the time and I work on them. Now, most days, the overwhelming amount of days, I get more than 3 things checked off. But if I'm to have an interrupted day or a day in which a crisis arises, these are the 3 things that I'm committed to, and that's why you try to knock them out. For me, it may not work with your schedule. Those of you who still have children at home, this becomes obviously much more problematic. Mine are raised on their own and not in the home. And I'm always going to think, how is this moving me toward my goal? And then I take all of the several tasks that I have in a given week that just have to be done, and I batch them. I put them in pieces and I put them on my calendar. That can be phone calls, errands, texts, emails, so on and so forth. Do not allow productivity and the talk about it become a black hole that sucks up all of your time. Some people spend so much time trying to be productive that they don't get anything done. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what electronic gizmos and gadgets you use, what kind of a day planner, day timer, journal you have. The fact of the matter, you don't score bonus points for that. You and I are measured by what in the world did you get done. Here's what I want to do to kind of demystify this. That some of you believe that because I'm now using productivity hacks and applications that my life is hardly my own and my life has gotten exceedingly more complicated than it has ever been before. I have heard someone say in recent days, you just have to win the day and then win the week and then win the month. And if you do that enough, you'll win the year. And ultimately, if you do that enough, you will win your life. Well, what does that exactly mean? Here's how winning a day has been described. That you are very productive for a minimum of 3 to 4 hours. Now, most of us work 8, 10, some of you work 12 hours or more. Do you realize if you really had focused concentration and absolutely singleness of purpose for 3 to 4 hours every day, you would be one of the most productive people in the world? Now, here's how I do that. I break mine down into 20 minutes. There are times when it's a longer project, I might get into 30 or 40 minutes, but my attention span cannot go that long. Plus, with the responsibilities that I have, I can't go hours at a time without needing to communicate with someone or do something different. So I go at 20 minutes at a time. Now, I just don't start. I use a timer. For me, it is actually an electronic timer that is on my Apple Watch, it's on my iPhone, it's on my laptop, and it's on my desktop. So it's everywhere and it's cross-platform. And I have it set for 20-minute increments with a 5-minute rest. Oftentimes, I will take more than that. So if I'm working on goal number 1, the thing that I do the night before is I always make sure I have all of the material that I need. If there is paperwork or emails or reports or financials, I pull them all together into a folder. I get it wherever I'm going to do the work at. I have it all before me. I hit the timer, and then I've turned off all notifications on my electronic devices. I hold my telephone calls, and for 20 minutes, I work on that project, and I know the timer is ticking, and so I don't waste time, I don't stop, I don't do anything else for 20 minutes. And then when it's done, I go about, take my break, do whatever I need to do. If I need to come back to that project after I've had sufficient rest, change of scenery, get a cup of coffee, use the restroom, walk around, whatever you need to do, return a phone call, whatever, it doesn't matter. Then when I'm ready, I have my material. If need be, I either continue on that project for another 20 minutes, that action for another 20 minutes, or I move to another. Now, do you realize that 8 20-minute segments would be 3 hours? Now, not consecutively. But if you did 8 20-minute singularly focused activities, you would be one of the most productive people on the planet. And when I have weeks where I'm trying to turn out major projects and do certain things, and I do more than that, I am absolutely amazed at the end of the week all that I've gotten accomplished. Instead of saying, I'm going to be productive for 40 hours this week, make this your goal. I'm going to implement 80 20-minute segments throughout my work week in which I will be singularly focused on the matter at hand, the activity, the action I have pre-committed to, and I will do that. That is 3 to 4 hours a day. And if you win 3 to 4 hours a day, you'll win the day. But here's the good thing. You don't have to win every hour of the day. If you can just win and be productive for 3 or 4 hours tomorrow, you will be one of the most productive people anywhere. So if you win enough hours in a day, you win the day. You don't have to win 12 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours, even 6 hours. If you could just win 3 or 4. Now that doesn't mean when your 3 or 4 hours are up, you go home. Plus, you can't do this in 3 or 4 hour one sitting. You're going to have to take breaks. 8 20-minute segments. You do that for enough days and you'll win the week. Because to see the win the week, all you need to do is win 3 days. 3 days where you have spent 3 to 4 hours in concentrated productivity and you'll win the week. Now that doesn't mean you take the other 2 days off. It may mean you're doing other meetings, you're involved in other things that may not be as productive as you'd like them to be, but they will move you forward. And you see, to win this month, you don't have to win 40 hours a week for 4 weeks. You just need to win 2.5 to 3 weeks which really is a week of at least 3 days that you won, and at least enough days where you used 3 to 4 hours of productivity. So you can win the month with 2.5 to 3 weeks of productivity. Doesn't mean you can take a week or a week and a half off. You'll still be doing other things. And to win this year, you don't have to win 12 months. You really just need to win 8 to 9 months of winning 2.5 to 3 weeks, of winning 3 days a week, and of winning 3 or 4 hours a day. Productivity, in essence, should really simplify, not complicate your life. Why don't you try to win the day, win the week, win the month? See how that works for you. I think and believe you can do it. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this was like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a rating and a brief written review? It will help other excellent individuals like you to be able to locate this podcast. Remember, my leadership friends, you are doing better than you think you are. You really are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying have a great and blessed day.